short order, but we can't promise any specific timeline. But it's definitely, near the top of the list of currencies we'd like to support. Cool. All right, if you want to take a peek at any other questions coming down the pipe here?
We have questions from Twitter?
Let's see here. There was one that came in a while ago.
Still not live. Live now.
What would have happened for another XRP question? We kind of answered that one already. We got some from earlier today. That question someone had asked.
Why do we rebrand ourselves as Edge?
Yeah.
Well,
give it a go.
I think it kind of comes down to our earlier answer of what we're trying to fight against and what we're trying to accomplish in this space is to put money not in centralized. I think it kind of comes down to our earlier answer on what we're trying to fight against and what we're trying to accomplish in this space. And those will be money edges not centralized. I think it kind of comes down to earlier on what we're trying to fight against and what we're trying to putting the money out there space. And those will be money.
Got it. Yeah, no, that's at the heart of what we're doing is the security model, like that William had described earlier, the way we do the encryption and the backup. The security model is what we tagged as edge security, and we've actually used that term even before we rebranded, when we were still Airbits. And that the concept was that we're securing data at the edges of the network versus the centralized part of the network, the servers, and we're taking that data and making it secure on people's devices, on their computers, on their phones, on their tablets, and making it such that only they can access it. The people that are at the edges of the network, only we can access that data. So hence the naming that kind of had changed from just Airbits, which is focused on mobile and Bitcoin, to the security model that we've built, which is not just now for our wallet, but also a platform for other applications and other partners, especially in the decentralized app space. So we've got a few other questions that kind of went in on Facebook. These are actually kind of related to what you were just talking about, like
what makes us different from Trezors or Nano.
Yeah, so what makes us different from a hardware wallet?
Well, a hardware wallet is great if you are willing to do two things. A, spend $100 to secure your crypto.
Right.
And that would involve a significant investment. Like if I'm giving you $5 as a tip for an Uber ride, you don't need a ledger for that because you're not going to spend $100 to secure 5.
Right. Yep.
The other thing you wouldn't use a ledger or a Trezor for is your day-to-day walking around money.
Right.
Hopefully, if this works and the cryptocurrency space does what it's supposed to do, you should be able to go to Starbucks, scan a barcode, and send them crypto right there to pay for your coffee.
Right, exactly.
And you're not going to do that with let me get my USB dongle and plug it into my phone type. That's not going to happen. So we're thinking about walking around money, small amounts of money, and you can secure your life savings in Edge, but at the same time, maybe you think that the hardware wallet will give you better security for that. So that's kind of a security trade-off you'd have to make on your own, based on your own threat model. Am I able to secure a 12-word backup in a good way that would enable me to have a Trezor? Or am I going to trust my memory for a passphrase better than that?
Right, and I think that's at the heart of what we think about when we think of security, is that security is about what is the threat model, like exact word that William said. What's the threat of losing your funds? Is it you, the user, and where you put your backup, or whether or not you actually can recover your backup in case you lose your device, which for the most part you have to expect that the device could get lost or stolen, or is it your fear of the device actually getting attacked and compromised and very targeted malware getting on your device such that it gets access to your private keys and your cryptocurrency. So with the threat model of number 2, where yes, you can get malware on your device, then the hardware wallets definitely protect you better against that. So the questions about how are we better than like a Nano S, Nano Ledger, or a Trezor, from a viewpoint of an attack of malware on your device, we're not going to be able to be as effective as a hardware wallet. From the viewpoint of an attack that is on your backup, such as where did you put your private key? Are you that guy that wrote it in the notebook as you were flipping pages, showing someone else some notes? We're going to be better than that because you never have to write that down. From the threat of you as a human actually forgetting where you put your backup and losing it, we would be better in that option because you don't actually back it up yourself. So really, it's a combination of all of these factors, and what we chose is to protect against the most common factors of loss. So we ask ourselves, why are people losing cryptocurrency? And the top 2 main reasons that we've seen are, number 1, they put it on a centralized exchange. That tends to be the easiest way to hold your money because it's very familiar. And number two is that people just lose it themselves. Like they lose their backup, they lose the wallet.dat file, they lose the 12 words, or they put the 12 words in a bad place where it gets stolen. So we're trying to build up against those two. And while there is a theoretical potential attack on getting malware onto a device that can get access to the keys, that's not the reason we're seeing that people actually lose crypto. It's theoretical, possible, but we want to make sure people aren't losing crypto the way they have been for the past almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Let's see what else people are asking over here. Change your name. Let's see. Why do we go multi-currency? Want to give that one a shot?
Well, multiple reasons.
Yeah.
As many reasons as there are
Our
currencies.
got thousands of reasons, for sure. Quite a lot of reasons.
Well, I would say one of the big reasons was that edge security we realized was useful for more than just Bitcoin. Other apps needed it. Many decentralized applications are built on the Ethereum network. So right away, as soon as we started making our technology available to those companies, we found a scenario where we needed to store Ether inside our system. Now, we were storing the Ether, but we just couldn't access it. We couldn't show it to our users inside our app. So that was kind of a big desire to do that. And then along comes Bitcoin Cash. So our customers are storing Bitcoin inside our wallets, only Bitcoin, but now which Bitcoin? Is it Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin Cash? And now we have to split that and provide them access to their own funds. And okay, fine, now we really have to go multi-currency. And so about 6 months later, we did.
Yep, exactly. It's a lot of the infrastructure for making it multi-currency and the platform kind of shifting was actually it started. God, how long has it been? Like a year and a half ago? Yeah, 2 years almost ago, where we started already architecting the idea behind it. But yeah, definitely the fork of Bitcoin Cash made it utmost important because now the exact same keys, the same private keys that were already being held in Airbits, effectively held two currencies.
Whether we liked it or not.
Whether we liked it or not, it just suddenly held two currencies. And while we knew how to transact one of them, we had, the original architecture of Airbits just didn't lend itself very well to being able to see and talk to multiple different blockchains and sign different formats and whatnot. And so multi-currency was at the heart of how we designed Edge. And to kind of expand on what you had said, William, about us holding keys for things like Ethereum, but not being able to see that. I think a lot of people don't realize how extensive Edge is in that we're both a wallet and a platform. That platform gets put into other decentralized app, like a couple partners of ours, Augur and Wings, and those apps will hold Ethereum and tokens. And originally, when we were just Airbits, those keys were getting encrypted and backed up into the original Airbits account that a user might have on their phone, but then the phone couldn't actually do anything with those keys, like you were saying.
That's correct.
But how cool is it now where I can use my account to sign into one of these other decentralized apps, but then after you sign in, you can actually then see the Ethereum and tokens that's in that app. You can also see it inside of your Edge wallet. And that we were really excited to be able to deliver.
So once Augur goes to mainnet, if I log into Augur using my phone, using Edge, and I make some money gambling or doing whatever it is, I
whatever
do,
predictions you have. Yep, exactly. You can be reporting, or you can be placing or buying shares in the outcome of an event, betting and whatnot.
And then I open up my phone, and there's my profit right there. Sitting there in my phone, I can spend it on whatever I want, or trade it, shape-shift it to Bitcoin and buy coffee, or Bitcoin Cash, I guess. Whatever it is.
Exactly. For some merchants who actually take Ethereum, you can just use it directly.
Exactly.
So no, that is an exciting use case that we'd like to see going forward, and the integration of these dApps alongside with our mobile app. Cool. We've probably got time for maybe one more question. I know we started a bit late, but we want to cut this off around the 12:30 mark. So let's see if we can fit one more on here. I know we've gotten this question a lot about Lightning.
Lightning.
Lightning. Yeah. Like, when will we incorporate Lightning? Is this on the roadmap and whatnot? And we have actually two different answers between us about this, both of which are very probably valuable for people to hear.
Well, I'll go ahead and give mine first.
Yeah, go for it.
I have more of an economic question about Lightning. I guess it's not maybe a question, but a statement.
A statement. Yep.
Lightning, from my point of view, is actually an altcoin. It's an alternative chain. It's an alternative consensus mechanism that just happens to be backed or tied back to Bitcoin for its resolution. So from every point of view, it's got different address formats. It's got different wallets. It's got different ways of transacting, different constraints, different servers you connect to. From everything that matters in terms of technology, it is a different system.
Yeah. It's one of the most different altcoins. If you think about it, it's like the altcoin that you can't use anything that you used prior from like Bitcoin or Ethereum to implementing that altcoin, it's like as drastically different as possible.
Within that framework of seeing yes, it has a one-to-one monetary peg with price of Bitcoin. So if I have one Bitcoin, I put that into a Lightning channel, the price of that Lightning channel is going to go up and down with the price of Bitcoin, one-to-one. There's no, monetarily, it's actually the same. But technologically, it's a completely different coin. So the question is, we should treat it as any other coin. How much effort is it going to take to implement, and how many people are demanding it?
Right.
So if everybody in the world suddenly tomorrow starts taking Lightning for payments, and everyone's demanding that we implement it, well, great, we'll invest the technology to do that.
Right.
But if it's one of those things where it doesn't get wide adoption, no one's really using it, it's a cool technology, but no one's on board, then we're going to prioritize other coins. Maybe we'll do Monero before we do Lightning, because people are actually using that.
People are using it there, and they're demanding it.
Exactly.
And it's not an easy one to implement, but even relative to Lightning, it's a significantly easier bird to implement. And so I definitely agree on that point as well. The thing that, I've looked at the Lightning protocol, I wouldn't call it super extensively, but at a kind of medium surface level, and I've even talked to a good handful of the Lightning developers. And I'm actually one of the few and early people to educate others on